Hey, welcome back, guys. This is Jody Ritz doing the latest update from the gaming that we've been doing. That we did. What was the date? December, no, April 18th. On April 18th. Yeah, I should have wrote it down. But, anyways, this is for the gaming of the week of April 18th, and quite a few different dimensions for you. And we look forward to seeing more comments and questions out there if you have any out there. Um, where we last left our heroes, still at the very end of day one on Black World. Black World is where all of these teams that created by the main characters from Earth 210. Oh, they were on Earth 210 when they created these teams. They were pulled away to get 2 weeks of relaxation and get to know each other as a team. And so this is still at the very end of day one. They're in 3 different scenarios in the Fantasia device. Megadon is in one, Stars is in another, and the Argonauts are in another, as well as the Brotherhood. Another. We haven't got really. I think we did game a little bit further on that. No, I don't think we got any further. Sorry. Well, anyways, so starting with the Argonauts, which is made up of, and I do this each time, but of Alex, Hope, Bruce, Monet, Charles, David, Tessa, and Mindy. Made up of these guys. Well, they're finishing their day on the beach on this island, Fiji-ish or Tahitian-ish island, sailing boat and everything. As we've talked about in previous episodes, they're coupling up. The Argonauts are much closer to those couples than were the other teams up to this point. And our main character, player character, Alex, is cozying up with Hope at the end of this gaming session. Sleeping bag on the beach. And the other one's David and Mindy getting a little closer, as well as Charles and Monet, which have gotten very close. And they, so we move, as he goes to sleep, wake up and he goes someplace else, but we'll get on to that. The next one would be Stars. The group Stars, they're finishing their day, and we played a little bit more time on Stars because they haven't as much character development. They were in Disney and Disney World, and now it's night, and they're going to sleep at several different rooms in the Cinderella Castle in the middle of Magic Kingdom. And each room, I don't know if this is really true, Disney, if you ever watch this, and tell me whether this is true or not. But there's a room in for our scenario for each different movie, for each of the different rooms. And these 9 players from Stars. And Stars is made up of Chris Ritz, Kamala, Clarice, Mary, Wally, Sam, Peter, and Gwen. And as they get to their rooms, Peter does a little bit of swinging around, and he's, kind of a jokester, tries to. Mary actually comes down and visits Wally at his room just at the right time when Wally is trying to visit Mary. But Mary, Miss Marvel, Mary Marvel, not Ms. Marvel, but is she visits Wally, and what he doesn't know to his, he thinks that she kind of liked Chris, from what Chris has been getting some thoughts that come. Anybody that mentions his name, he is, because Chris has telepathy. So whenever he does that, she's kind of like Tim, but she saw that a little bit earlier last gaming session that he was holding hands with Kamala. So, not overtly, but she noticed that. And so she didn't want this night in a fairyland kingdom to end up without a kiss. So she kisses Wally because she knew Wally was interested. So it ends up a little different. Chris and Kamala stay telepathically thinking and talking to each other all the way until they go to bed that night. And Peter, up in his room later, is just being Peter. No, he doesn't go visit Gwen or anything, but he chooses to write down a list of things he does when he gets off this little vacation. Okay? Anyways, yes, there are some NPCs being played by PCs just because I don't want one person to be gaming his scenario and then I'm playing all the other ones and the other guys don't have any time for gaming. So it gives them a little bit of role playing power and switches things up. Yeah, sometimes they're a little bit out of character, but it's okay. Then we go off to Omega Dawn, who is finishing up their night on this camping adventure. And Omega Dawn is made up of Christopher Lord, Adriana, Megan, Zatanna, Calvin, Sam, and Alan and Barta. They finishing up. Calvin has gotten a lot closer to Zatanna. She lets him sleep there tonight. Sam hears a lot of the conversations between Adriana and Barta, but then eventually falls asleep. Christopher Lord too, and he's kind of gets closer to Megan, but not really. They go to sleep, and when all three of these, the player characters, Alex, Christopher, and Christopher Lord, all go to sleep, they wake. Alex first wakes up and he realizes that he's in Earth 2 million. He doesn't really know what Earth 2 million or a million is. Earth 2 million, well, the millions, being that years ago, Russell Galizia, when he was playing the game, wanted to get away from all the other player characters in their gaming and said, I want to go to Earth 1 million. It's got to be so far away from... And it was really far away. But he didn't realize that Willpower already had plans for that alternate world. Earth 1 million, apparently Joel's gecko form that he had taken from Abdul. Anyways, this is a long story, but they were raining all over that planet. And anyways, when Russ tries to get away from primarily Joel and his gaming, he's stuck around geckos, which was a form that Joel used. Anyways, in the end, it was an apocalyptic world, dystopia, whatever. Anyways, he didn't stay there for long. But when Argon had all this power and Argon was trying to defeat Willpower, he pulled the power of that dimension, used it to blast Willpower. It didn't hurt Willpower, but anyways, Argon was able to do a lot of other stuff by using that power. So Argon takes Earth 1 million, and this is somewhere right around before the end of Cleflin, which is 60 years ago of the Cleflin that we're playing in. Willpower takes that world and makes a new world in it. Gets rid of all the time spots being a Time Lord, and basically gets rid of powers. So people don't have powers, and it becomes more of a sci-fi adventure for the characters. And Joel and Ray got to adventure in it, and they were basically they were using Sensi Knight powers, like a Sensi Knight, which is similar to a Jedi Knight, but Sensi. But they were using lightsabers instead, which was right from Star Wars. And I was gaming this right around the time Episode 1 came out to kind of get that space adventure sort of storyline, but without the powers. They found ways to make their powers, because their powers in the end became about feeble version of their power. And anyway, so these guys are now playing in a world. Earth 2 million is based off of that. The reason why they're playing some of these um, willpower worlds is because now that Wanda's in charge, there are little pockets of willpower's energy. And he was vitally connected to a lot of the Earth 10.3 worlds. So now I'm just making this, I'm not making this all up, but I'm just pulling this all from my head right away. So now now Wanda's got these bubbles to deal with, and they seem to happen in the form of time blends. So when everybody goes to sleep, they go. And earlier, you guys heard a couple months ago when these characters got to go to Varsity. Now they're playing the 2 million. Because it's also 2 million vice Earth 1 million, because all the ones were all gaming from the characters of 20 years ago. Now we're 20 years later. This is Earth. Everything's in the 200s, and then we go with the 2 million. So, anyways, just a little what we're doing here. So when they wake up, Alex wakes up, and they find out. Or was it? Yeah, it was Alex, and he finds out that. Or is it Chris? Anyways, they find out that they're on a spaceship, and Zatanna is driving this spaceship. They are getting pulled in by the Empire. And it's not the Empire from Star Wars or anything. This is the Roman Empire. Willpower was big with using the Romans for everything as his bad guys. And also the deities that, or the demigods or whatever gods, he was big on using them for plot points. So, anyways, now this is on to Wanda. These Romans are capturing the ship, and now that Alex doesn't have a big understanding, he's like, well, we need to wake up some of the others, and he does. They wake up, the six, altogether there's 9 of them. It's Christopher Lord with Chris Ritz and Alex. Zatanna's there, Tessa, Clarice, Peter Parker, and David Adeline, and Calvin are there. None of them have powers, and they've been in this world for what seems to be 7 years. And as they are being towed by a tractor beam, their ship, and they're finding out that the ship is like a bunch of globes that are like molded together. They can't see what the outside of the ship looks like, but they're being pulled in by a tractor beam, and they can't escape from it. They're trying to do all these different things. Alex just wants to go, hey, I got a lightsaber. They discover these lightsabers, and they have to talk to the team. Peter reveals a lot of their backstory to them. Yeah, 7 years. But they don't remember any of this because it's kind of coming in a time blend. Although Alex does sense a time spot off in the distance, but that's it. That's all he gets. The rest of them have different powers. Anyways, or no powers. But the 3 Sensi Knights are Chris Ritz, Chris Lord, or Christopher Lord. I'm trying to get Christopher with Lord. And then Alex. And so then they realize, after a discussion, that most of their other 3 teams have all been killed off over time. Excuse me, mostly by the Romans. And so 7 years later, they're pretty pissed. And I just want to kill everybody, Alex says. But realizing that that's not going to happen with the 50-some thousand troops that are on this ship that's towing them, and they get in the docking bay and they're realizing. But then, through gaming, thank you, Chris, my son realizes, hey, the tractor beam thing that I've kind of described as pointing down at them and is pulling them in. Let's use our telekinetics and pull that thing. And they do. They damage it. And as it crashes down, it releases the ship. And then they try to speed off. But they don't have enough energy because it's been drained, so they can't get off to hyperspace. Yes, it's a Star Wars sort of scenario. And I wanted to game something different with these character sets. So it's happening. And at least for one day, maybe. I don't know. See, I don't even know if these guys are going to listen to my video to find out what may be going on. We'll see. And so, they escape, and doing a lot of damage to they got mechs in there that are kind of shaped like giant Roman soldiers, and then they start sending out fighters after them after they've got out off the ship, but they're still trying to escape. And these fighters are in the form of no of they look kind of like round shields, but they fly sideways, so they're very hard for the guys to shoot. And they're trying to do an escape, kind of like a Han Solo escape. Like, I'll put this and this together, and somehow we make it. So they're trying to do that, and maybe we'll see how the story goes as far as their adventuring. Yes, they have the three lightsabers that they have are based off of sort of Star Wars-ish, but there's something that Chris noticed that when he looked into his lightsaber that he sees a star, and like a glowing star similar to the sparkles that he creates when he uses mental powers. And Alex and Christopher Lord really haven't noticed them. And I think Alex's sword was like a blue color or something like that. But the rest of the team are just 7 years later without their powers. What would they do? And how their team got their butts kicked without powers. And how they got here. That's all going to be remaining in the mysteries of. So you got a little bit of history on how Earth 1 Million was ever created, and you guys. So now we go from there, as we last left our heroes in Clefland. Clefland, for the most part, short amount of gaming because I'm gaming one person at a time, trying to do a lot of things. We left off in the March. In the March, Daniel Ritz decides to leave that hand that he got from the Drend with the ring attached to it and teleports back to his home in Clefland with a D in the castle, and talks to his mom for a little bit. Let's see what else was gained. Gained a little bit of the new Marquis, Christopher Prentice, and some of his plans. Asked a lot of questions from a knowing, trying to find out how to deal with dragons, and found out that his mom, Madeline, was sending a special forces team of elves to the island of Avalon to see if they could find Zul the dragon. At least we'll see what if they can do anything. Zhao, or no, not Zhao. Wazoo. Wazoo is the half brother to the new Marquis, and he finally gets his text and information from Sean, the lightning ship, that he and Rachel needs to return back to the March, back to Talos, the castle, Pine Castle, and. Not much gaming between. The brothers do meet. Seth Corso meets his, is reacquainted with his Seth Corso, with Dom and Lucky Corso. Oh, also Chris Prentice, the March's leader, the Marquis. He's getting a lot of advice from the Duke's daughter, Chella. Chella is spending a lot of time with him. And one of my big interests is wondering how this is going to go. Because the Marquis is elvish, but Chella, if there's, she wouldn't mind hooking up, I guess, with Christopher. But she's human. And leading the elves kind of have been having hard times with humans. And whether they'll, back that up, we don't know. Onward. The other characters, okay, and we play. I go down to Mifflin, and in Mifflin, the Duke is asking a lot of questions of the knowing again, trying to find out. Dragons and what he should do with that. He finds out that he actually found out months ago when we were playing, but he didn't remember. But that there was a dragon called Xander, and it's living in the mountains nearby the city of Hazen. Hazen, in between, it's like, I wish I had my map of them, but there's Hazen is northwest of Mifflin, and in between them is the city of Medja. Anyways, so Duke Frank has got a lot of contemplating on what to do with all that. Ryan works a little bit more on his armor that he's going to be wearing, and then we go to what's been going on in Camelot. Camelot, Ray's been gaming with me here and there via email, and not a whole lot this last week, but the week prior. But anyways, Triton, who's stuck in water form. I mean, stuck in like the potential energy of water, stuck in the plane, which it sucks. And he's still mentally aware and he can control his water, but he's stuck in this water form. His dad, Andrew, helps him leave, and there actually enters the ocean there. The Nadsu Sea is the name of the sea. Oh no, Vilvan Sea. Yeah, the Vilvan Sea. And he realizes, I can't get any more together, and he kind of spreads out along the coast of the barony. Meanwhile, back in the city of Camelot, this is what's going on in the barony. Back in the city of Camelot, the Baron is finding out that through using R2 down in the Tower of Science. Now, a little background: Tower of Science was created in Mifflin, which is part of the Duke's lands in the previous. But the Tower of Science is tall, 66 stories, and in the middle is on the 33rd story is where a lab that was created by Roger Moore, which is another version of Ray in another world who had Class 5000 reasoning. Anyways, that place has been passed on to any other Ray can use it. And so he's still using it, and he's able to communicate with R2. R2 is the droid that was put in charge of that, because this is a trademarked universe. So I can use all these trademarks. It's for fun. Hey, please don't take any offense, Star Wars or Disney, of all this use of you. Maybe it might help your sales, whatever. Like they need my help. Anyways, where are we at with 22 minutes? Okay. So he finds out that there are more of these portals from the Tower of Science throughout all of these different cities. And he wants to use one. But the barony used to be a no-tech zone. And there wasn't any portal built. Now there's a portal. Now he needs to go get one. So he's planning on flying up to Hastings to take that portal between. There's a portal between Hastings and the Tower of Science. So he was heading up there, and he's bringing his son Kyle. And Kyle's asking a lot of questions, trying to find out more about portals and other things of interest. Andrew, the father of Triton, also talks to the Baron a little bit, and the Baron Ray, about the problems with Triton, and hey, I'll help you when I get back. All right, so that's our gaming for this week. And if you have any comments or any questions, leave a comment down below. And if you want to hear more, and it'd be great if you subscribe to this. I haven't got any subscribers of people I don't know of, but maybe I should get a Patreon account or something like that. I would love to be a writer and get paid. Do this because Lord knows we need the money. Anyways, this is for fun right now. Hey, you guys all have fun out there, and God bless.